Hey guys, this is Caleb with DSLRvideoshooter.com, and today we're doing another comparison. A while back we did a tripod comparison, but today we're going to look at monopods, which is kind of a different game, and there's a couple options depending on your budget on what you can get set up. I recently have been shooting more on monopods just because of speed and the huge amount of flexibility. So let's go ahead and jump right in. And today we're looking at tripods ranging from $30 all the way up to $300. And at the low end, we have this guy right here. This is the Slik Monopod 350. And there is a head right here, but actually this is what you would be getting. It's just a 3-stage small monopod that tears down to almost nothing. And then right here, I just have a Manfrotto 128 LP. This runs around $60, and what I'm trying to show you guys here is if you guys already have a pretty nice fluid head, you can just attach it to one of these more affordable tripods and you're in business, and you'll have a fluid head monopod. So that's a great option for those who don't have a lot of capital to be spending on a whole nother unit aside from the tripod. You just pop the head off, put it on your monopod, and you're in business. So this runs $30, and here's some specs. The next monopod in our series is the Velbon UP400PS. And I have an older Velbon tripod, and I'm pretty impressed with their stuff. Usually they have a lot of more affordable gear and tripods, but for getting started, they're a great solution. And for anyone who's had I think it's the DV7000, this monopod feels a lot like that. This one does have a fluid head built in, and it closes up to a very small size. 3 stages, comes with this strap, and the head is very, very small, but it is very fluid. It does come with a quick release system. The head is plastic, so it's not going to be as strong as obviously something metal, but you could add your own quick release to the top. And then it has the handle support, which is great when you're shooting with a DSLR, and you can use that as kind of like a shoulder pad. So yeah, I like this one a lot. This comes in at just shy of $40. I think it's about $39. So you're going to go over that a little bit with shipping. But yeah, I really do like this one, and it's gonna serve you really well if you're just looking for something with a fluid head built in. Maybe you don't use a monopod as much and you just need one that's gonna be smaller and you can leave in a bag or in your car. I wouldn't put too much weight on this one because it does have a very, very small head. So again, here are some specs. So our next monopod is this guy right here, and this is the Acebill MP6 TV. And this thing is just a monster. The price is like $110, and it's really heavy. I mean, it feels like a giant mace. The thing is a beast, and it's pretty nice. I mean, the fluid head, this whole head right here is a totally legit tripod head. You could take this off, and it's actually really nice. So if you don't have a tripod and you are just getting started with acquiring, a support system, this may be a good solution because you could actually use this head with just a pair of sticks. You could buy a more affordable pair of Manfrotto sticks and then just use this guy. Really, really smooth, very nice. Has its own quick release system. And you can add from both, add your camera from the front or the back, and you have some lockdown room there. The thing is metal. Some of the knobs are plastic and rubber. It has the tension control built in, bubble, and really nice foam grip. I do like it a lot. It is a little heavy, but you're going to be able to get some pretty smooth stuff. It does have the arm on there, which is really nice. And is with that foam on the end, feels very comfortable. So yeah, I was very surprised to see how well this one works. Just heavy. That's probably the biggest thing I'm not as much a fan of. But let's go ahead and take a look at some specs. Awesome, so our next monopod is the Manfrotto 560B1, and I read that because this one and our next tripod have similar names, but don't be fooled, they're very different. And I'm not gonna spend too much time on this one just because I really don't think it's a good idea to look at this one. This unit in particular costs around $150. It has these really nice feet at the bottom, and the base unit has a very, very nice fluid tilt. So unlike some of those other units we were looking at, when you actually pan, all of that movement happens down here on this red fluid, and it's just horizontal. But the biggest problem I have with this thing is the vertical. And in the description, this is called a fluid video monopod, but when in fact it's really not fluid at all. All it has is this lock right here, and it's either all the way open and has absolutely no smoothness to it at all, or you're locked down and it doesn't move at all. But there's really no in between. If you try to set it to the middle, it's really hard to move, and it actually, as you tilt it, it continues to lock the knob, and it has a lot of vibration in it, and it's really a bad design. I'm kind of disappointed that they actually consider this a fluid head monopod, because it really isn't at all. And I can't really see anyone using this for any kind of smooth tilting. The panning's great, but the tilt is really not gonna work. So I really don't think this is worth the $150 at all. If you're gonna spend that much, maybe look at some of the other ones we just talked about, or save up a little more and take a look at the next one. But at any rate, we're gonna take a look at some specs real quick. Cool, so now we're gonna take a look at the last monopod, and this one is the Manfrotto 561BH-DV1. This guy is the king in my mind when it comes to the monopods, for sure. It is the most expensive, so this is gonna cost you about 300 bones, but this is the best of all specs, and compared to the other ones, you're really getting the best in all the categories when you're comparing these. So the first thing you'll notice is the feet, just like the previous one we just looked at, the other Manfrotto. And again, very smooth, 3 sections. It is a little longer than all the other ones. This is all the way closed up. But the head on it is spectacular. And let me go ahead and open this up real quick. And for those of you that already have a Manfrotto tripod, you'll be happy to know that you'll be able to use your quick releases and all your plates right with it. I do like this one a lot. Big fan, and I ended up not sending this one back and bought one for myself. I really think this is a huge tool. Very powerful. There's a tension control on there's a tension lock on the side of the monopod, and but with that ball at the bottom, you really have a lot of flexibility for your use of this, and you can just get some really cool shots. The height, you can go crazy tall with this thing. I'm 6 feet tall, and it goes well above me, so you can get really unique shots from very high. Let's say you're at a wedding and you want to get, a wide shot of a dance or a crowd of people. That would work really well. You could lock it down at an angle, raise it all the way up, and you could get a really smooth pan. And the panning on this is incredibly smooth. With just 2 or 4 fingers, you can easily create very smooth pans, which is, I think, very useful and helpful. And you're not going to really be able to do this with a lot of other monopods because there's a lot of friction. The base is just on the ground and you're actually twisting it in gravel or cement or whatever surface you're on. Whereas these with those feet is really nice. And the other thing is you can get fake slider shots by pushing in and pulling out and those feet at the base allow you to do this without the base moving at all. And you can actually, I put my foot on one of the little 3 feet at the bottom, and that allows you to get really, really smooth stuff. And another great thing is you can get your viewfinders on the back of your camera, and then when you have the arm against your shoulder, hand on the lens, hand on the grip, and then your eye up there, now you're talking 4 points of contact, and it's incredibly smooth. And you really get 5 because you have that base rooted in the ground really well. And I just love the speed at which the operator is able to work when using this. You can get multiple setups, going up, down, panning, tilting, slider, and really do a lot of creative stuff. I love this thing to death, and it is hard to keep in stock. So if you're watching this, you may want to jump over to B&H or Amazon and just take a look, because I had to wait a while to get this one because they're always going out of stock because they're so popular. So you may want to take a look at that. It is a little expensive, $300, but if you are a working professional and you're shooting a lot, this thing has completely changed how I'm able to shoot and moving so quickly. And having that release is really nice because I can go from this directly to my tripod, directly to a rig, and back. So it's pretty powerful. And another feature that is pretty unique is that actually in the middle of the tripod base, there's a point where the camera centers and it just stays there. So like right here, I'm not holding it at all and it's just staying there. So you can get static shots with this. And I've actually done a couple projects where I didn't even break out the sticks, my tripod. And I just use this thing because you can set it up like this and get some great stuff. So that's a pretty great feature. One thing people have noticed, and I've noticed as well, is that that ball at the base, let me close this up real quick, can be kind of problematic in that when you first get this thing, you may notice that when it's rotating, people call it popping, but I think it's a better way to describe it is there's some friction there. So, you know, when your wipers on your car, when you accidentally turn them on and there's no rain and they kind of skip, that's kind of what's happening with this ball. And you'll notice that, and it makes it very hard to get smooth shots. So what I would recommend you do is break out an Allen wrench, and there's 3 little Allen screws in here that you can just loosen a little bit. So you may want to experiment with how tight you want those. But there's I've found one where it's still smooth, but I still have the opportunity to have that motionless feature where I can lock it in place. Because if you loosen those too much, you won't be able to have that middle spot where it just stays there. So that's something to look into. But it's a great tool, very powerful, and I've been using this a lot and won't go anywhere without it. So in conclusion, I think if you're starting from absolute scratch, I think the Velbon is a great monopod to get started with because you don't need to have anything else. That's all you need to get going, and you'll be able to use it right out of the box. And if you already have a tripod and a tripod head with a 1/4-20, or you can use an adapter to go from 3/8 to 1/4-20, this guy right here, the little Slik, is going to be something that you can, again, right out of the box, be able to use with what you already have, and it's only going to set you back $30. I would not recommend the Manfrotto 60B just because it is a useless head on it, and that's really not worth $150 if you're going to be using video. You probably already can tell that the 561 BHDV is my favorite, and if you're going to be a working professional using this a lot, this is really going to be a valuable tool for you to be capturing your shots and really get some unique stuff. And then this guy right here is kind of, I'm kind of in the middle on. It's huge, it's really heavy, it's the heaviest out of all of these, and I don't know if it's the most usable because of that. The head is very smooth, and it will take more weight. So if you're going to be putting a ton of weight on these, this may be one that you may want to look into. What's nice about this head is, unlike the most expensive Manfrotto that we looked at, it does have a tilt and pan built into the head. So if you are looking at getting a tripod and a monopod at the same time, you could get this thing, use the head on a pair of sticks, and then switch it back to the monopod leg, and there you have both, and you have one head. So there's a couple options out there. So let me know if you have any questions, and I'd be happy to help you out with those. And you can find more content on DSLR Video Shooter. I hope this was helpful, and we'll see you guys on the website.